Hey everybody, how y'all doing today? I am Justin for the UFC Insight, and I'm here with Seth Baczynski. Seth, thank you so much for coming out of your hard workout schedule and family time to answer some questions.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Okay, tell us about how you got into fighting.
Um, I always competed as an athlete growing up, and one of my friends, after I got out of high school and wasn't competing anymore, was down at a local gym. He was competing in Raising the Cage, just a local venue around my spot. And, he's telling me you should come down here and try this out, man. I think you'd smash most of these dudes. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I didn't put much into it. And went in there just to get a workout and do something competitive, and I ended up being really good at it. That was 6-7 years ago, somewhere around there.
From then, was your mind set on becoming a UFC fighter?
Yeah, once I got into it and started competing and started figuring the game out a little bit, I realized it was something that I truly love to do. I'm really passionate about it, and I've been doing it ever since.
In 2006, you debuted at Rage in the Cage. How nervous were you in your first fight?
Yeah, I was tripped out, man. It was 8,000 people there. It was at Jobbing.com Arena in Glendale, Arizona. And I was so nervous when they called me out. They had a little stage you can walk up on, and they shot the smoke and all that jazz. And I completely missed the whole thing. Walked right by it. That's how nervous I was.
After the IFL, you were a part of the Ultimate Fighter Liddell versus Ortiz. You were picked by Tito's team. How hard of a coach was Tito?
Tito was pretty easygoing. He's a pretty good coach. He brought some good guys in, Clever Luciano and Paul and Saul and Razor Rob and all them guys. They all did a good job. They're real passionate about it, and they worked real hard to get us ready. So, nothing bad to say about the guy. He worked hard. He tried to win. He's real competitive, and he wanted us all to do well. So, it wasn't too hard being on the Ultimate Fighter,
After a short time with UFC, you signed with Strikeforce, and in your first bout under Strikeforce contract, tell us about your fight with Tim McKenzie.
That wasn't actually a fight with Tim McKenzie. That was a fight in Polish Palace.
Oh.
Originally supposed to fight Eric Apple in Strikeforce, and so I think it was some legal issues Eric Apple had. I can't remember what it was, but for some reason he couldn't leave the state of California to come fight me a couple months before the fight, and that fight got pulled, and then shortly after I got my release slip from Strikeforce in the mail, and they released me, and my next fight I took was against Tim McKenzie in Polish Palace.
Back in April, you fought Alex Garcia at Ringside MMA 10, and you won via a knockout, and you won the MMA welterweight title. How does it feel winning a title?
It felt good. I worked really hard to be in that position, and that was the first title I won, and he's undefeated. He's a highly ranked prospect coming up, and he's in his hometown. He's from a well-known camp. He had a bunch of good training partners and all that, so it was good to stop a good fighter, but I'm sure you're not going to hear the last of. That's not the last you're going to hear. Alex Garcia, he's a talented fighter. I'm sure you'll know more about him years to come.
After a short time after, UFC contacted you again, and they wanted you to come back as one of their fighters, and you competed against Clay Harrison back in September. How would it feel coming back to the UFC?
It felt right. Everything felt right. That was the first time where I competed in a big organization that I actually felt prepared and ready to go. I felt like I had all the bases covered, and I was ready to go. I was ready to compete, and the best fighter was going to win. And I ended up coming out on top that night.
Your latest bout was back in November, and you took on Matt Brown. And tell us about your bout. Was it very complicated facing Matt Brown?
You know, you never know what to expect. We only had 4 weeks to get ready for that fight. You know, it was short notice call. 4 weeks is longer than, you know, most of the fights I had been taking. You know, most of them on 2 weeks notice. So we kind of had our little system down, taking fights on short notice. For whatever reason, it took a long time to get the tapes in. Didn't really get them until about a week before the fight. So we just decided to focus on what I was good at and, you know, go on what we knew of them. We really have no tapes on them or anything to watch. So we just, you know, decided to focus on what I was good at and fight my fight and not really worry about anything else he was going to do.
Now on to some personal questions. We got 5 personal questions. How did you get your nickname, the Polish Pistol?
Polish Pistola?
Yeah.
You know, being from Arizona, one of the boxing gyms I spent a lot of time boxing in was a Hispanic gym, and I was so bad at boxing when I first went in there. I would, you know, go against better guys, and they'd start tagging me up, and I'd start winging punches as hard as I could. Folks would say, you know, why does it look like you're pulling your pistols out of your hip again, you stupid pull-out? And he would always tell me to stop pulling my pistols out because I was winging my punches. It looked like I was just grabbing the pistol, swinging them as hard as I could. All of a sudden, everyone started calling me the Polish Pistola, and it just got nuts. And no one ever since.
What type of music do you have on your iPod?
A lot of hip-hop, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, a lot of old-school 70s rock and hip-hop, man.
How many sessions do you have to prepare for bouts? Like, how many sessions do you have before bouts?
Typically, you know, if all goes right, nothing's hurt, and I'm healthy the whole camp. You know, I train probably 9 times a week, 10 times a week. At like 9 2-hour sessions a week.
What is the biggest MMA fighter you train with? Because I'm an Arizona native. I heard of that area you fight with. You fight with like Ryan Bader. Is he the highest guy you've ever spar with?
I don't know, man. I mean, Robbie Lawler's a pretty big name. I worked out with Joe Riggs, Bruce Fickett, you know, Ryan Bader, Aaron Simpson, Galloway. You know, all those guys in the hat. I mean, they're all well-known fighters and very good at what they do. So, pretty hard to pick one. Been a little bit of Dominic Cruz, one of my friends. Known for a long time. You know, I've trained with a bunch of big names throughout the day.
Seth, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Hey, no worries, man. Have a good